Good morning, Rio Norte.
I'm Maddox.
And I'm Sienna, and this is Rio School News.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Face the flag, put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated.
Hey, what's up? I'm Mr. Polito, RioTV advisor. I'm here with our music director, Mr. Gilbert. Mr. Gilbert, I understand you have some exciting news that you want to share. What's going on?
Well, for the first time ever, not one, but four of our vocal jazz kids from the Rio Norte Riverhawks made it into the vocal jazz at Valencia High School. That is Isabel Pearson, Eldon Lea, Nathan Igami, and Marcus Espinosa. So when you see them, give them big fives, guys. Awesome job.
Congratulations. Now back to you in the studio.
Hey 8th graders, please check to see which bus you are on for this week's Magic Mountain field trip. The lists are posted outside room B14 and C16.
Also, 8th graders, panoramic pictures have arrived. Mrs. Fortenberry has a few more to sell at the ASB window, and they are $20 if you didn't originally order one.
Recently, our Claws Club here at Rio Norte went to go help the animals at the Castaic Animal Shelter. Let's check it out.
Hi, Rio Norte students. My name is Mrs. Racina. I'm one of the advisors for CLAWS, along with Mrs. Mandel. CLAWS stands for Kids Loving Animals Within Shelters. Today, we are making dog treats and going up to read to the dogs at the Castaic Animal Shelter. We read to the dogs because it helps calm them down in a very stressful environment. Come along with us today as we visit the animal shelter and find ways to help these dogs get into loving forever homes.
Here we have Raina. Raina's a 10-month-old pit bull puppy who has a lot of energy. So when you get a puppy, you have to know they have a lot of energy and they require a lot of extra care. This is Kiara, and she's about a 4-year-old German Shepherd Husky mix. And she's a very nice dog. She's actually one of my favorites. And right now she just has a cold, so she can't come out of her pen to play. But she is adoptable. She just has a cold, which is contagious. This is Zuma. He hasn't been evaluated yet. I understand he doesn't really care for other dogs, so he would have to be the only dog in the home. But he's pretty darn cute. So this is Shady. I love Shady. She's one of my favorite dogs. She's a little bit dog selective, so if you had another pet, you would have to bring him here to meet her before you could adopt her. But she is adorable. I just love her. Right, Shady? She's a good girl. Shady's a good girl. So this is Zell, and she's just over a year old, so she's still a puppy. She has a lot of puppy energy, and she would love to be in a home with an active family, maybe somebody who would take her out hiking or jogging. King, and he's kind of waiting for his owner to come pick him up. Sometimes the owners can't get back right away, so we take really good care of their pets.
We have a lot of great student teachers on our campus. Let's learn more about Mrs. Van Dyke's student teacher, Mr. Oots.
All right, so hi, I'm Mr. Oots. I'm the student teacher for math on Team Shenandoah with Mrs. Van Dyke. Some of my hobbies are like playing and watching sports. So I played hockey for 14 years and lacrosse for 3 years. So mostly just that. I mean, video games, TV, hang out with friends, the usual answers. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, right now I'm pretty much finished with school, but while I was in school, my favorite subjects were like math and chemistry, just because it was a lot of hands-on stuff that we did in chemistry, so I really enjoyed that. Well, what I like most about math is that it allows you to just solve so many things in the real world. Like you go to the grocery store and you're like, should I buy 3 of the larger bag or 4 of the medium-sized bag? And you can use math to figure out how to save yourself 15 cents because that's what I like to do. So that's one thing. What I like most about teaching math is like when students finally like have that aha moment where they're like, oh, that's what that means, or that's how I can do this problem or solve this issue that I've been wondering about. And like that moment as a teacher is what like is most exciting for me, because a lot of the times you're hearing, why is this useful? What do we have to do this for? So to finally like have students realize that's what you do it for, that's what's really exciting for me as a teacher. That's a tough one. One thing I would tell my younger self is to just be flexible with your plans for the future. Because like when I was younger, I just had this envision of I'm gonna go into engineering and work at a desk and, you know, be an engineer with whatever field I ended up in. And that's kind of like the path that I set myself towards. And then 2 years into working at a desk job, I realized I could not do that for the rest of my life. And so I guess, yeah, just telling myself to be flexible with everything, just like plans and communicating with people, yeah. My favorite subject in math is probably calculus, because that's where everything you've learned and worked towards for like the last 12 years of doing math kind of all comes together to solve really complex things. So like that was exciting for me, just like, oh, like now I can use this piece of information from trig and this piece from algebra and this from geometry, and you kind of combine it all together. So that was exciting for me. So just going back to my previous answer, I worked in like kind of data analysis computer where I was just sitting at a desk all day, and on the side I was doing a lot of tutoring. And a lot of my students and a lot of the parents that I interacted with kept telling me, oh, they really liked working with you. You should be a teacher. And for years I was like, no, I'm gonna keep doing what I was, went to school for and studied for. And I thought I was gonna keep working in a cubicle by myself every day. And so eventually, that sort of takes a toll on you mentally, and you realize that's not what you're meant to do. And you're like, maybe all those parents that I've been working with for the last 6 years were right. And so I decided, I'll give it a shot. And then, after my first semester student teaching and taking all the classes, I was like, this is way more fun. Like, you don't really feel like you're working. You just feel like you show up and you have fun for 6 hours, and you go home at 2 o'clock and you have 3 months off every year. Like, how can you argue with that? My favorite color is probably red, but it's been a while since I was asked that question. So yeah, I'll go with red. My favorite thing about student teaching is really just getting to try new things and see, like, because you can plan this really cool lesson that you think is cool, and then you try it with the students, and then like they just don't like it or they don't get it, and you're like, okay, I won't do that one again. But like if you're in an actual teaching role, it's kind of hard to afford yourself those days to take chances and to be willing to make mistakes. So it's just kind of like, I just enjoy being able to try new things and learn how to be a better teacher in the future. All right, thank you.
Let's learn more about one of our fantastic assistant principals, Mr. Miles.
Hi, I'm Mr. Miles. I'm one of the assistant principals here at Rio Norte. I work with the 7th graders this year and love my job. Love working here at Rio. What inspired me to work as an assistant principal is I was a teacher. I taught English and AVID when I was a teacher. It was a college prep program for my 8th graders and 7th graders, and I was really fortunate to have great administrators that I worked with and for at that school. And I just really wanted to be like one person in particular. I had a great mentor, and I said, I want to be like that person, which I think is just a great way to follow your ambitions. Before coming to Rio Norte, I was a vice principal at a high school in the Bay Area called College Park High School in Pleasant Hill. And before that, I was a teacher at Oak Grove Middle School in Concord. Both those are up in the Bay Area. That's where I got my first teaching job. But I grew up right here in Santa Clarita and went to Arroyo Seco Junior High School right down the street. As a kid, I really liked to play sports. I liked to run around outside and play with my brothers. Me and my little brother in particular played baseball almost every day, playing catch in the backyard or going to the park. And I played baseball in high school. I wasn't very good at all, but I just had so much fun, loved playing baseball with my friends every day. And that was definitely a highlight of my high school experience. Right now, hanging out with my kids is my number one hobby and the way I spend most of my time. I also really like to play disc golf when I get the chance to get out there and throw some plastic. Love doing that. And I like going to baseball games whenever I have the chance. Well, this summer I'm going to Hawaii for the first time, which will be fun. But probably my favorite vacation spot is this place up in the mountains called Hume Lake that I go to every summer. Probably my happy place, something that I always look forward to every summer. My favorite memory from school growing up was probably, when I think back on school, let's put it this way. When I think back on school, I think back on good times with friends and playing sports. And there are some things that stand out from classes and just, I did math market myself in junior high school. And I think about, the day I was accepted to college and sharing that experience with my friends, and think about the time when I was in Spanish class with my brother and I did better on a test than he did. These are things that stand out, just those little successes that were good times and just kind of stand out in my memory.
That's it for today.
I'm Sienna.
And I'm Maddox.
And we'll see you next time on Rio TV.